Do minutes seem like hours when you're asked to speak in public?
Check, check.
Your heart races.
1, 2, 3.
Your brow sweats. Your stomach knots. Your throat tightens. You're not alone. Public speaking is the #1 fear in America.
Being in a room like this can be an enjoyable experience. That is, if you're in the audience. However, if you're making the speech, it can be terrifying. I'm Dr. Tina Dupree. I'm going to share with you today tips and techniques to help you improve your public speaking skills and take control of your audience.
It's time to stand and deliver. Learn proven tips to improve your public speaking skills. In this information-packed program, you will find out not only how to improve your public speaking skills, you'll also learn how and why these improvements will help your everyday communication skills. Plus, you will be given step-by-step tips on writing a truly effective speech. And you'll learn from one of the most successful public speaking coaches in the country.
You can learn. You can learn. And there are so many people who wait for somebody else to come by and teach them. There are people on jobs now that says, I didn't get any training. Train yourself. You can learn. You can develop your own talents.
Dr. Tina Dupree has been an internationally renowned motivational speaker, trainer, and author for over 15 years. Dr. Dupree is the president of the Motivational Training Center, as well as the founder and president of the Professional Speakers Network. From struggling secretary to a confident businesswoman in one of the nation's top fast food chains, Church's Chicken, Tina affectionately became known as the Chicken Lady.
So the people who worked for Church's Chicken had a different work ethic and mindset.
She takes from her business experience exciting personal and inspirational ways to motivate her audience, to set goals, and achieve their dreams. Her personal motto has become her main speaking topic. It's time to invest in yourself, the Chicken Lady speaks.
I'm ready to invest in myself. One more time.
And that is precisely what this program is all about. In the next half hour, Dr. Dupree will show you how to turn the fear of speaking around and make it your best asset, who this program can help, why it is critical to apply the skills of public speaking in everyday professional life, what are the 10 do's and don'ts of public speaking, and Tina's hot tips that you can apply immediately to improve your public speaking skills. The art of small talk.
You're probably saying to yourself, well, what in the world is small talk? Small talk is bits of conversation used effectively to a targeted person or company. Small talk has been around for a number of years and can greatly benefit the small business owner. Let me ask you a question. You're a small business owner and you've been trying to get an appointment with an important prospect for several weeks, but you can't get past the secretary. However, when you're out in the community or at a business function, or maybe just in front of the elevator, you happen to see that business prospect. What do? You use the art of small talk. You may approach that person at the elevator and just start making bits of conversation on something maybe you read in the newspaper recently about the individual or his company. Or perhaps you've done your research, and by doing your research, you've learned information that would make a great opening or icebreaker in coming and approaching that business professional.
Networking is very, very powerful and very, very important. Wherever you might go, always have a business card with you or a pen where you can write something down, take someone's number, give them your number, and that you don't know who you might run into at a grocery store, at a concert event, going up at a gas station. You just never know. Always be ready, always be networking, always shaking hands, being positive, letting people know what you do.
Remember that the art of small talk relies on doing your research, keeping it brief, know who and what you are targeting, try to get an appointment, send a thank you note after your meeting, and be creative.
Small talk, yes, it can be very effective. if used properly. One of the most common things we're asked to do is to introduce ourselves or to tell a little bit about ourselves. Surprisingly enough, this is very difficult for most people. This next exercise will show you how, in a short, concise manner, you can introduce yourself very effectively. It's called the 30-second commercial.
Plan a well-thought-out 30-second commercial that tells your audience who you are, what you do, and the benefits of how you can help solve a problem, make more money, improve service, or become more effective.
Let me give you an example of how most people do self-introductions. Hi, my name is Tina Dupree, and I work for myself. I do workshops, and I'm glad to be here today. Now let me give you an example of a well-prepared and planned 30-second commercial. Hi, my name is Tina Dupree. I'm the president of the Motivational Training Center. I present workshops and seminars on public speaking, professional speaking, and I do one-on-one coaching. I can help you present a better speech. You notice the difference? I gave my name, my title, and a benefit statement. That's the difference with the 30-second commercial. Remember, as in small talk, to keep it brief.
Write out your 30-second commercial and practice using it the next time you're at a networking event or during small talk. Notice how people respond. You will be surprised. Using and choosing the right words.
I'm sure you've heard the old saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's very important in public speaking. For example, if you're giving a sales presentation, you want to make sure that you use the right words. Words that inspire, words that motivate, words that persuade.
You're there to get their attention, have them retain your message, and have them take action. So each and every point of your presentation should lead to what is the end result, what is the thing you want them to take away and to remember. Some people are more visual, some people are more auditory, and some people are more feeling-based. So you can say, oh, I understand how you feel. Oh, I see your point. I can hear what you're saying. And when you keep building that into your words, that's very important because then you touch on all the types in your audience. And there are always different types when you make a presentation.
Let me give you an example in customer service in using and choosing the right words. You have a salesperson, and that person is in charge of giving information to your customers. An angry customer comes up and says, I'm upset with your company. The clerk then responds, what is your problem? Those are the wrong words. The clerk should respond in using and choosing the right words by saying, how may I be of assistance to you? I'm sure you've heard many times the word problem, it's out of business language. Now we use the word challenge because it's found and proven that it's a better word. Make sure you use and choose the right words when putting your speech together. Before we go on to preparing a great speech, I'm going to give you 10 do's and don'ts. Now these may seem simple, but most people actually forget all about them when they're preparing their speech.
The do's and don'ts of public speaking. A concise list of 10 rules. 1. Don't ever wing it. Do be prepared. 2. Don't ever speak too loud, too soft, too fast, or too slow. Do learn to pace yourself and use the right tone. This comes with practice or by hiring a speaker's coach. 3. Don't try to be someone else. Do be creative and be yourself. 4. Don't use negative body language, so allow yourself to be expressive, smile, move around slowly, and make eye contact. 5. Don't use other speakers' material. Do develop your own material. 6. Don't let fear overcome you. Do have confidence. 7. Don't go over your time limit. Do time yourself in practice sessions. 8. Don't be afraid of your audience. Do interact with them. 9. Don't speak until you have practiced your material. And 10. Do enjoy your applause. You've earned it.
Follow these 10 steps and you'll be well on your way to becoming a better public speaker.
How to prepare and deliver a winning speech.
So far, I've given you some great techniques that you can implement immediately in your day-to-day conversation. But before you're ready for this room, you've got to be prepared. Preparation is 90% of presenting a speech. You must not only prepare what you will say, but how you will say it.
Before giving any speech, the most important part of your research is to conduct what I call an audience audit. And you try to collect as much information about your audience. What are their likes, their dislikes? What is the cultural background of the audience, the age? As much information, people's names, a list of people, their titles, because without that information, I couldn't begin to design my presentation or lead in how I'm going to open. So that is clearly the most significant piece of the pre-rehearsal and preparation.
The best place to start when you are planning to deliver any kind of speech is with the audience. Think about who they are, how it will benefit them. There are basically 4 types of speeches. Some inform, some persuade, some are meant to entertain, and others to motivate.
A clear assessment of your audience will tell you what kind of speech you need to make. It will also tell you whether or not you can use humor. Now, I advise to use humor rather than telling a joke, because telling jokes may offend someone in the audience. Humor can be lighthearted. It will make you chuckle, think of a light moment, and connect to the speech. So I went into the personnel office and I said I was supposed to come here and I'm going to get a promotion. They said, you can get a promotion, but you got to take a typing test first. I took the typing test. They gave me a little slip, told me to go back to the personnel office. I went back to the personnel office. They said, you passed. You have the job. I said, great. I get the job and I go to a real office this time. And I'm in there in my nice office and I'm straightening everything up and I'm looking at my work. I'm so happy and proud to be there. And all of a sudden, all day long, people open the door and they look in, they smile, they close the door and they leave. I'm like, what's happening here? So all of a sudden, I thought to myself, the next time somebody does it, I'm gonna say, what are you doing? So the next time somebody came in, opened the door, I said, don't leave yet, what are you doing? She said, child, you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know what. She said, you typed over 100 words a minute. We never seen or heard of that. We came to see what you look like.
Before you write a word, decide what objective you have for this audience and what type of speech you will be presenting.
The final point that I want to make in assessing your audience is the importance of staying on time. You owe it to your audience to give them the best presentation that you can, but you also owe it to your audience to end on time. Always remember, you're not the entire program, only a portion of it. You're probably thinking, now let's get on with the speech writing. Well, you're not quite ready for that yet. Before you organize your speech, you must first organize your thoughts. This is the time that you put into researching your topic. Researching your topic will make your speech writing much easier. Make sure the information is accurate, up-to-date, and content-based.
Organize your thoughts. This is important because you are expected to bring value to your audience to achieve some sort of outcome. You must make certain that your facts are up-to-date, accurate, and well organized. Take the proper amount of time to thoroughly research your topic and the writing will be easy. You'll be armed with all the information you need to light up your audience with excitement by shining bright and giving valuable content-based information, no matter what the topic.
I used to ramble and ramble and ramble, and Tina got me to organize everything into chunks so that I would speak and communicate effectively. I had all this passion about everything that happened to me in my life. But Tina was the one that was able to structure it together so I could give it to an audience and inspire these kids. And the difference is having kids just look at me like this, like, what is this guy talking about? Or having kids get inspired and they're like hugging me at the end of these presentations and everything. It's just wonderful.
There's a basic method for putting a speech together. It was developed by an old preacher. He simply said, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. Today we call that the 3T method of putting a speech together. But that's not all that you need. There's a lot more to it.
There are several steps to the process of writing a winning speech. A basic speech outline includes 3 main sections. 1, an introduction or opening. 2 or 3 main points. And 3, a great conclusion.
But you won't necessarily put your speech together in that order. I've broken it down into 4 easy steps.
Step 1, begin with the end. Step 2, prepare the introduction or opening. Step 3, organize the core of the speech. Step 4, practice, practice, practice.
The first step is to start with the ending. I know this may sound awkward, but it really works. Just think about it. When you're putting a puzzle together, you can put it together much easier when you know what it looks like in the end.
Ask yourself, what are the main objectives of this speech? Then decide on how you are going to end your speech. This allows the speaker to fit the introduction and the core information into the speech with the desired results in mind.
Work toward an ending that will leave your audience challenged to implement your suggestions and eager to input your recommendations at work immediately. Yes, write the ending first.
Step 2, prepare the introduction or opening.
Just as you want a great introduction when you're being introduced as the speaker, your speech also needs a great introduction. Use words that motivate and inspire. Use positive words, descriptive words. Use words that will keep the audience on the edge of their seats waiting for your next point. Your introduction should be one of your strongest points. It should tell the audience what you're going to talk about. Your introduction should include your topic and should give the audience a brief overview of what to expect. Then your first point should begin to support your introduction and should include a personal story. Remember, the introduction is a good way to hook your audience's attention.
Step 3, organize the core of the speech.
After you've decided on what impact you want to make and you've written an attention-getting introduction, it's now time to organize the core content of your speech. Most speeches have 2 to 3 main points. The first point should be your strongest point. The next strongest point should come at your closing. You want to make your speech memorable, and people remember those strong points. One great way to have them remember your strong point is to tell a personal story.
An audience will always remember a powerful story using descriptive, energetic, positive words.
But I wrote my own story, and I tell the story in there of all of the things in my life that taught me how investing in myself would make me a better person. I talk about the time when I went to work at Miami-Dade Community College and found out that I could go to school for free. Wouldn't cost me a dime. It was an employee benefit. Ran home excited, got out of my car, ran into the house with my car keys and said to my husband at that time, I can go to school. It's not going to cost us any money. I've never had a chance to go to college. I was so excited. And he snatched those keys out of my hand and said, not with this car. If you want to go, you have to walk. And I walked every single night. I walked in the morning and I walked in the evening. And he's long deceased now. But I said, no, I didn't kill him. He's long deceased now, but when I walked down that aisle to get my PhD, I was hoping so much that somehow he could know it. because he didn't want me to get an AA degree, and now I have a PhD. I always encourage people that I coach to use personal stories in their presentation. This really allows the audience to connect with you.
Step 4, practice, practice, practice.
This may seem obvious, but too many speakers, both experienced and inexperienced speakers, neglect to practice. It's very important to practice your speech over and over again. This helps it to get down into your spirit. You've already prepared. You've researched your materials, but now you need to practice your delivery.
We don't wing it. You write your speech down word for word, you memorize it, and then you can improvise as you're up there. But you have to know where you're going so that if you get off track, you can get right back on track.
You cannot practice enough, okay? You always look in the mirror, you go through your gestures, you say each word, each line as if you're going to say it.
You learn to know how to relax. You learn to know how to come across. And preparation is the big thing. When you've got your stuff together and you've rehearsed and you've practiced and you've done the things at home or in a quiet time at a park and you've written everything down and you've got your T's crossed and your I's dotted, everything goes smooth. It's not a bigger hurdle as you think.
Go over your material until you have it down pat. Here are a few tips to remember regarding your delivery. Some of these were mentioned earlier, but they warrant repeating. Smile. Use good posture and positive body language. Make certain you are dressed for success. Don't be afraid to gesture broadly. Be expressive with your voice. Use great diction and proper grammar. Don't be afraid to move around. Enjoy being on stage. Methods of delivery. Do what's best for you.
Some people use a completely written out speech. A written out speech can be easy to work with, but hard to deliver. If you write your speech out completely, when you practice, make sure that you practice reading your speech in conversational tone. You don't want to sound as if you are reading. The next form is to use note cards. Note cards can be very distracting. First of all, if you have a 45-minute keynote speech, you may have up to 30 note cards. Some people call note cards index cards. Index cards can be easily used if you will color code them. Your introduction can be blue. The body of your speech, you can have yellow index cards. And the closing can be green. This is one way to organize your note cards. And don't forget to number your note cards. This is just in case you drop them. It will be easier to find your place just by putting them back in numerical order. The most commonly used method is the outline. In developing your outline, you will start with your completely written out speech, and then just simply outline your main points. The fourth method of delivery is to use a mind map. The mind map is used mostly by trainers, but it can also help you in delivering your speech. In this method, you would draw a circle in the middle of a page, write your topic inside the circle, then draw straight lines from the circle as if you were giving it antennas. Then write on each line your idea or thought. Under each line, you would write a few reminders of what that particular thought represents. Then number your thoughts or ideas so that you will be able to follow your map in the proper order. This is a more difficult method and should be used after you have practiced enough that you can follow the sequence. A mind map may seem difficult, but I know many professional speakers who think it's the only way to go. For more information on mind mapping, search the internet or visit your local bookstore.
Evaluate your performance and continue to practice.
You've delivered your speech. The audience is left. The room is empty, but it's not over yet. You must continue to evaluate your performance and practice. What will you do differently the next time you're in this room?
And whether your speech is a one-time presentation or one that you will give over and over again, continue to practice your skills. This practice will help in every aspect of your communication skills. You'll be better at introducing yourself at a large meeting, speaking on the phone, making effective small talk, or selling yourself.
Now you know what it takes to make a great public speaker great. I encourage you to use the techniques presented in this program. The fear will vanish away, and you'll begin to love public speaking just as I do. Be ready the next time you're asked to stand and deliver.
Be ready to stand and deliver.